So Belvedere House Gardens and Park is a Georgian estate first built in 1740. It was first built as a hunting villa, a hunting lodge, which is still in existence today and was restored by Westmeath County Council. It's got a large estate, 160 acres, with 10 kilometres of trails that bring you along the lake shore, through the woodlands, into a beautiful Victorian walled garden and a fairy garden. And around the estate you will explore some other features dotted around the estate, including 3 follies, the Jealous Wall, the stone gazebo and the Gothic arch. So the first owner of Belvedere was Robert Rochford. He built it as a hunting villa or a hunting lodge on the shores of Lough Ennel here in County Westmeath. When he died in 1774, it passed on to his son, George Augustus. Robert had 2 sons, and when George Augustus died, when both Robert's sons died, they died with no heirs, and it was eventually passed to Robert's daughter, Lady Jane. And when she died, it passed to her relation, Charles Brinsley Marley, and he inherited around 1847. Brinsley Marley was a very young man when he inherited Belvedere, and he was a great innovator. He brought a lot of new thoughts and new ideas to the estate, and it's thanks to him that we have the beautiful terraces outside the house overlooking the lake and the Victorian walled garden, which he commissioned mid-1850s. The owner after Brinsley Marley was Charles Howard Bury, who was a very interesting man who travelled right around the world, had been a member of the British Army, was a well-travelled, well-seasoned traveller, and he lived here for the latter part of his life. And the final owner of Belvedere was, private owner of Belvedere was Rex Beaumont, and he inherited it from Colonel Howard Bury, and Rex then sold it on to Westmeath County Council in the 1980s.
Charles Brinsley Marley, he would have lived here quite a lot, and he entertained here. He also he was into botany, so he was very interested in the lands and in the parkland, and put in the beautiful terraces at the front of the house and the wall garden, so he was big into collecting plants and travelling. When he passed on the estate to his cousin, Colonel Howard Bury, he was also a botanist and traveller, and so he brought back quite a lot of plants from all his different exhibitions, including a primrose that was named after him, and there was a rose and a fuchsia, so there's quite a number of plants in the wall garden belonging to him. The ceilings were probably Robert's one of the nicest features that he put into the house. He put beautiful plasterwork ceilings about 1760, and they were put in, they were French stucco style, freehand stucco work, so like icing a cake, only on the broad of your back, but very decorative. This room that we're sitting in here, the withdrawing room, has 3 goddesses on the ceiling. So you have Juno over behind my back near the window, Minerva in the middle, and Venus over near the doorway there. That and the beautiful hand-carved fireplaces, it's where we think that the brothers, the Cromillion brothers who did the stucco work, got their inspiration, because the fireplace in the dining room has 2 beautiful cherubs each side, whereas in here you have Baku, the god of wine, carved in the very centre of this particular fireplace.
Follies are generally described as shambolic ruins or structures built for no particular reason, only to adorn the landscape. And the Jealous Wall, as you will see, is very much like a Gothic ruin of a much bigger building that may have been on the estate for a period of time. However, it was built to look like a ruin from the very beginning, and that's why we call it a folly. And Robert commissioned the building of the Jealous Wall because he had a very strained relationship with his brother. He had initially built Belvedere House up on the hill overlooking Lough Ennel with beautiful views, 360-degree views in one area looking straight over to the Slieve Blue Mountains on a fine clear day. However, his brother decided to build a house in this view from Belvedere House, turning the back of the house to Belvedere, so Robert was looking over at the servants' entrance. He wasn't particularly happy about this. They had a strained relationship, and so he decided to commission the building of the Jealous Wall to act as a blocker between him and the view to his brother's house. So anybody visiting Belvedere House and looking around the estate would be drawn to see this beautiful Gothic feature on the estate, rather than looking over at what was his brother's mansion in the distance.